Okay, so chapter 1, the lighthouse.
Dear Esther, the morning after I was washed ashore, salt in my ears, sand in my mouth, and the waves always at my ankles, I felt as though everything had conspired to this one last shipwreck. I remembered nothing but water, stones in my belly and my shoes, threatening to drag me under to where only the most listless of creatures swim.
Not sure I want to go in the murder room. We're not going up the lighthouse, I suppose. Let's head down this way.
Those islands in the distance, I am sure, are nothing more than relics of another time, sleeping giants, somnambulist gods laid down for a final dreaming. I wash the sand from my lips and grip my wrist ever more tightly. My shaking arms will not support my fading diaries.
No idea what that symbol means or if it's important. Better make a mental note of it just in case.
I have found the ship's manifest, crumpled and waterlogged under a stash of paint cans. It tells me that along with this present cargo, there was a large quantity of antacid yogurt bound for the European market. It must have washed out to sea. God knows there are no longer gulls or goats here to eat it.
Doesn't look like we're going up that way. There's another set of stairs there. I wonder if both the high and low path go to the same place. Looks like I'll probably fall off this cliff. Alright, I'm still alive. Okay, let's go and try that again. So I assume if I went the other way, I'd end up falling down here anyway.
The mount is clearly the focal point of this landscape. It almost appears so well placed as to be artificial. I find myself easily slipping into the delusional state of ascribing purpose, deliberate motive to everything here. Was this island formed during the moment of impact? When we were torn loose from our moorings and the seatbelts cut motorway lanes into our chests and shoulders, did it first break surface then? When someone had died or was dying, or was so ill they gave up what little hope they could sacrifice, they cut parallel lines into the cliff, exposing the white chalk beneath. You could see them from the mainland or the fishing boats, and know to send aid or impose a cordon of protection, and wait a generation until whatever pestilence stalked the cliff paths died along with its hosts. My lines are just for this: to keep any would-be rescuers at bay. The infection is not simply of the flesh. They were God-fearing people, those shepherds. There was no love in the relationship. Donnelly tells me that they had one Bible that was passed around in strict rotation. It was stolen by a visiting monk in 1776, 2 years before the island was abandoned altogether. In the interim, I wonder, did they assign chapter and verse to the stones and grasses, marking the geography with a superimposed significance that they could actually walk the Bible and inhabit its contradictions? Dear Esther, I met Paul. I made my own little pilgrimage. My Damascus, a small semi-detached on the outskirts of Wolverhampton. We drank coffee in his kitchen and tried to connect to one another. Although he knew I hadn't come in search of an apology, reason or retribution, he still spiraled in panic, thrown high and lucid by his own dented bonnet. Responsibility had made him old. Like us, he'd already passed beyond any conceivable boundary of life.
I'm not sure I want to go in the dark hole, but we'll give it a quick peek.
I threw my arms wide and the cliff opened out before me, making this rough home. I transferred my belongings from the bothy on the mount and tried to live here instead. It was cold at night, and the sea lapped at the entrance at high tide. To climb the peak, I must first venture even deeper into the veins of the island, where the signals are blocked altogether. Only then will I understand them, when I stand on the summit and they flow into me, uncorrupted.
Okay, so we got some sort of weird tree-looking thing. And then some sort of formula. Some gross-looking thing. No idea what that is. And that looks like another tree. Let's just lead out the same way, yeah.
The vegetation here has fossilized from the roots up. To think they once grazed animals here, the remnants of occupation being evidence to that. It is all sick to death. The water is too polluted for the fish, the sky is too thin for the birds, and the soil is cut with the bones of hermits and shepherds. I've heard it said that human ashes make great fertilizer, that we could sow a forest from all that is left of your hips and ribcage, with enough left over to thicken the air and repopulate the bay.
Some kind of mini Stonehenge. It's a book. So this, I imagine, leads down to that rocky bit down on the beach. Yeah, so I was down there earlier. Well, I guess there's no coming back.
Dear Esther, I have now driven the stretch of the M5 between Exeter and Bristol over 21 times. But although I have all the reports and all the witnesses and have cross-referenced them within a millimetre using my Ordnance Survey maps, I simply cannot find the location. You'd think there would be marks to serve as some evidence. It's somewhere between the turn-off for Sanford and the welcome brake services, but although I can always see it in my rear-view mirror, I have as yet been unable to pull ashore.
Right, do we keep going along there, or do we go and look at the ships? Let's go have a look.
There must be a hole in the bottom of the boat. How else could new hermits have arrived?
I think it says, neither did he eat nor drink. This seems to be another lower path, I think. Is there another one up there?
It's only at night that this place makes any sluggish effort at life. You can see the buoy and the aerial. I've been taking to sleeping through the day in an attempt to resurrect myself. I can feel the last days drawing upon me. There's little point now in continuation. There must be something new to find here. Some nook or some cranny that offers a perspective worth clinging to. I've burnt my bridges. I've sunk my boats and watched them go to water.
So this looks like the upper path that we didn't take earlier. Or maybe not. The hell was that noise? It sounded like a something. Maybe there's something down here? So it looks like there could be another path going backwards here.
I had kidney stones and you visited me in the hospital. After the operation, when I was still half submerged in anesthetic, your outline and your speech both blurred. Now my stones have grown into an island and made their escape, and you have been rendered opaque by the car of a drunk.
Some big old kidney stones. I kind of want to go and have a look at the hole.
When I first looked into the shaft, I swear I felt the stones in my stomach shift in recognition.
Yeah, I don't think I want to fall down there.
I've begun my ascent on the green slope of the western side. I've looked deep into the mountain from the shaft and understood that I must go up and then find the way under. I will stash the last vestiges of my civilization in the stone walls and work deeper from there. I'm drawn by the aerial and the cliff edge. There is some form of rebirth waiting for me there. The bothy was constructed originally in the early 1700s. By then, shepherding had formalized into a career. The first habitual shepherd was a man called Jacobsen, from a lineage of migratory Scandinavians. He was not considered a man of breeding by the mainlanders. He came here every summer whilst building the bothy, hoping eventually that becoming a man of property would secure him a wife and a lineage. Donnelly records that it did not work. He caught some disease from his malcontented goats and died 2 years after completing it. There was no one to carve white lines into the cliff for him either.
It's just another stable or something. Another weird drawing. I hope I'm not supposed to be remembering all of these.
Three cormorants seen at dusk. They did not land. This house built of stone, built by a long-dead shepherd. Contents: my camp bed, a stove, a table, chairs, my clothes, my books. The caves that score out the belly of this island, leaving it famished. My limbs and belly famished. This skin, these organs, this failing eyesight. When the battery runs out in my torch, I will descend into the caves and follow only the phosphorescence home. Looks like there's another path over there. I wonder if I can get to it from here, or if I'll come back to that later. No, this looks all too steep to climb.
Looks like another cave down there.
He left his body to the medical school and was duly opened out for a crowd of students 21 days after his passing. The report is included in my edition of his book. The syphilis had torn through his guts like a drunk driver, scrambling his organs like eggs on a plate. But enough definition remained for a cursory examination, and, as I suspected, they found clear evidence of kidney stones. He's likely to have spent the last years of his life in considerable pain. Perhaps this is the root of his laudanum habit. Although its use makes him an unreliable witness, I find myself increasingly drawn into his orbit.
I keep expecting a Tomb Raider secret area chime to play. Doesn't look like to be anything down here. That's not creepy at all. Oh, it's just a suitcase. Couldn't figure out what that was from a distance. Oh, I guess we're going down the hole.
Donnelly's addiction is my one true constant. Even though I wake in false dawns and find the landscape changing, flowing in constantly through my tears, I know his reaching is always upon me.
Well, we're not dead. Who lit this candle? I'm assuming it wasn't us. Well, I guess there goes my torch. There's more candles.
I first saw him sat by the side of the road. I was waiting for you to be cut out of the wreckage. The car looked like it had been dropped from a great height. The guts of the engine spilled over the tarmac, like water underground.
Many more of these drawings. Leap of faith, I guess. Still not dead. Oh no, not again. Oh no, this is the same place. Is there maybe somewhere underwater I need to go? I must have missed something. So I definitely can't get through here, right? Yeah, that's way too small. Okay, so back up this way. There's got to be something I'm missing. Maybe I can just walk on this edge. Just very carefully. Oh yeah, that's it. Nailed it. Oh yeah, there's the hole I came over last time. And another candle, so I assume we're going to that way.
If the caves are my guts, this must be the place where the stones are first formed. The bacteria phosphoresce and rise, singing through the tunnels. Everything here is bound by the rise and fall, like a tide. Perhaps the whole island is actually underwater.
But I think we need to go up. This is where we need to go to get to the end. I just want to go and check one of these corners. There's one on the other side as well, but I think I'll just check one, see what it's like. I assume it's just a small opening or something I can't fit through. Yeah, there we go. It's a pretty crazy looking cave though. Okay, let's head up. Oh, actually, since there's a little way down, maybe we'll go and quickly have a look. Just in case there's anything interesting. Another book. Okay, let's get back on the path.
This cannot be the shaft they threw the goats into. It cannot be the landfill where the parts of your life that would not burn ended up. It cannot be the chimney that delivered you to the skies. It cannot be the place where you rained back down again to fertilize the soil and make small flowers in the rocks.
Oh, is this the bottom of that really giant hole? I wonder if you can take a shortcut down it if you're daring enough to jump in. Okay, this is some top level crazy. Oh no. Well, this doesn't look right. Maybe I am the crazy one. The outside world. We made it.
I wish I could have known Donnelly in this place. We would have had so much to debate. Did he paint these stones or did I? Who left the pots in the hut by the jetty? Who formed the museum under the sea? Who fell silently to his death into the frozen waters? Who erected this godforsaken aerial in the first place? Did this whole island rise to the surface of my stomach, forcing the gulls to take flight?
I returned home with a pocket full of stolen ash. Half of it fell out of my coat and vanished into the car's upholstery, but the rest I carefully stowed away in a box I kept in a drawer by the side of my bed. It was never intended as a meaningful act, but over the years it became a kind of talisman. I'd sit still, quite still for hours, just holding the diminishing powder in my palm and noting its smoothness. In time, we will all be worn down into granules, washed into the sea and dispersed.
Well, this is all super creepy, right? It's a very strange shrine. Let's just keep following the candles, I guess.
There were chemical diagrams on the mug he gave me coffee in, sticky at the handle where his hands shook. He worked for a pharmaceutical company with an office based on the outskirts of Wolverhampton. He'd been travelling back from a sales conference in Exeter, forming a strategic vision for the peddling of antacid yogurt to the European market. You could trace the connections with your finger, join the dots, and whole new compounds would be summoned into activity. From here, I can see my armada. I collected all the letters I'd ever meant to send to you, if I'd have ever made it to the mainland, but had instead collected at the bottom of my rucksack, and I spread them out along the lost beach. Then I took each and every one, and I folded them into boats. I folded you into the creases, and then, as the sun was setting, I set the fleet to sail. Shattered into 21 pieces, I consigned you to the Atlantic, and I sat here until I'd watched all of you sink.
I mean, they haven't sunk, so... Poor job. Or good job on making the boats, I guess. Are those potatoes? Maybe they're stones, but they kind of look like potatoes. Did I just drown?
Come back.
Okay, apparently I drowned, so that's definitely not the way we're supposed to go. So maybe follow this around? I think this is just taking us back to where we've been, so I must have missed a path somewhere. I think that's the defibrillator, okay. So that's the one we came out of. So maybe over there towards that crazy writing. I think this is the cave we came out of, right? So... I don't think there was another exit. So I've definitely missed a path somewhere. I'm thinking it's still got to be over near where I drowned. Yeah, there's candles up. Is that a guy? Just standing up there. So I think we need to get up to him. He must be the candle man. Looks like it's probably just here, so if I just turned around. Yeah, there we go. Not even a particularly hidden path, just a big set of stairs. What's the bets this is going to be one of those things where when I go up to Candleman he won't be there anymore. He'll have spookily disappeared.
A sound of torn metal, teeth running over the edge of the rocks, a moon that casts a signal as I lay pinned beside you, the ticking of the cooling engine, and the calling from a great height, all my mind as a bypass.
So I'm assuming if we were in the car accident with Esther, then the defibrillator that's in the shrine is whatever one saved us. The question just remains whether or not we're the crazy one. Which I'm leaning yes. Although there still appears to be Candleman. I want to get up to him, but I don't want to take my eyes off of him.
I've begun my voyage in a paper boat without a bottom. I will fly to the moon in it. I've been folded along a crease in time, a weakness in the sheet of life. Now you've settled on the opposite side of the paper to me. I can see your traces in the ink that soaks through the fiber, the pulped vegetation. When we become waterlogged and the cage disintegrates, we will intermingle. When this paper aeroplane leaves the cliff edge and carves parallel vapor trails in the dark, we will come together.
Candleman disappeared. Where are you, Candleman? I'm even more sure we're just crazy now.
If only Donnelly had experienced this, he would have realized he was his own shoreline, as am I. Just as I am becoming this island, so he became his syphilis, retreating into the burning synapses, the stones, the infection. There are headlights reflected in these retinas. Too long in the tunnels of my island without a bottom. The sea creatures have risen to the surface, but the gulls are not here to carry them back to their nests. I've become fixed, open and staring, an eye turned on itself. I've become an infected leg whose tracking lines form a perfect map of the junctions of the M5. I will take the exit at mid-thigh and plummet to my Esther. I have dredged these waters for the bones of the hermit, for the traces of Donnelly, for any sign of Jakobsen's flock, for the empty bottle that would incriminate him. I have scoured this stretch of motorway 21 times, attempting to recreate his trajectory, the point when his heart stopped dead and all he saw was the moon over the Sanford Junction. He was not drunk, Esther. He was not drunk at all, and it was not his fault. It was the converging lines that doomed him. This is not a recorded natural condition. The gulls do not fly so low over the motorway and cause him to swerve. The paint scored away from his car in lines like an infection, making directly for the heart. We will leave twin vapor trails in the air, white lines etched into these rocks. Dear Esther, I have burnt my belongings, my books, this death certificate. Mine will be written all across this island. Who was Jakobsen? Who remembers him? Donnelly has written of him, but who was Donnelly? Who remembers him? I have painted, carved, hewn, scored into this space all that I could draw from him. There will be another to these shores to remember me. I will rise from the ocean like an island without bottom, come together like a stone, become an aerial, a beacon, that they will not forget you. We have always been drawn here. One day the gulls will return and nest in our bones and our history. I will look to my left and see Esther Donnelly flying beside me. I will look to my right and see Paul Jakobsen flying beside me. They will leave white lines carved into the air to reach the mainland, where help will be sent.
Well, I'm assuming this is the end. I mean, I was definitely not a bird a minute ago, but that was definitely the shadow of a bird that was underneath us. Well, that's that. That was definitely more like darker and more psychological than I thought it was going to be. And I think I'll need to play it through a second time to figure out the story. The silent credits are certainly a choice.